has been a learning curve. Oh my God, it's been a learning curve. There's been a lot of pain. There have been times when I thought, what the fuck have you done? I don't think if I had the chance to go back and do it again, that I wouldn't do it again. Because I think life's about learning, isn't it? And it's not all up. Some of it's down.
Welcome to this another podcast. Pints of View here with me, Gary Goldsmith at the Cavendish in New Cavendish Street, my local. So there are loads of sound effects and there's quite a lot of work going on today, so we can't even get fed. Welcome, Angel, Romilla Arber. Welcome to Pints of View. Let's have a sip.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm here all day and that's non-alcoholic.
Oh, is it?
I feel like I've let you down slightly. Literally, but you did have a massive coffee. Oh, 30 years we've known each other.
Really? Is
yeah,
that long?
I was trying to try and think of some stats and facts about it. Rom, before I introduce you as I know you and this sort of massive and very unorthodox career and passions, I've written you a poem.
Okay, it's nice.
Yeah.
No one's ever written me one.
No. Well, to be fair, yeah, you know I've written you a poem because you went, oh, that's really nice, especially coming from you. so it's expect us to bicker most of the way through this. Rom, with such ambition, a shining star, Romilla Arber, whose journey is almost bizarre. From lawyer to mother to world of food, an entrepreneur spirit, her dreams pursued. With pen in hand and culinary magic flows, as a food writer, her passion only grows. Her flavours dance, an exquisite art, a taste of love she shares from the heart. It's quite nice, isn't it? You got a really nice one. The one this morning was shit. Cafes and restaurants, there ain't no stopping. Her other gift is online shopping. A mother of four. Yeah, do you know what? I keep saying five.
You're getting me muddled up with Elizabeth.
Yeah. A mother of four, the most beautiful kids. In the world of polo, she takes the lead, a patron of grace, a player of speed. With elegance and skill, she takes her flight in the polo field, a captivating sight. For more than half of our lives, friends we have been, through thick and thin, the things we have seen. Romilla Arber, our name to treasure, her presence in our lives brings us all loads of pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Romilla Arber. It was quite good, wasn't it?
That was good. I don't think I've ever had such accolades.
Oh no, that's the end of that. Right. So, I was also thinking just before we start this, hasn't Computer Futures and S3 been good to you?
Yeah.
So actually, a lawyer at S3. As you worked there, your brother got a job there and did rather well. You found your husband there, which is pretty good. And you made loads of mates that you're still mates with 30 years later.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
It's been really good to the pair of us.
It's definitely a vein in our lives, I think.
Yeah.
Runs through our lives.
Yeah, and it's a joyful experience.
But that's good. That's what makes a good business though, doesn't it?
With something you got longevity with.
Yeah.
So there's loads of things to talk about. So I'm going to talk about the things to talk about and then I'm going to let you cherry pick.
Okay.
Lawyer. Mum of four, and they are the most beautiful children in the world.
Yeah, I'm biased, but I think they are the most beautiful children in the world.
It's brilliant. But actually, you've got a very handsome husband as well. Food writer, food entrepreneur, polo. It was quite funny because I said, have you got a look at the second best polo team in the country, just behind Simon's? You went, I'm going to go with a strong no. So I'm happy about that. A Spurs absolute junkie. The fact that you watch football pretty much every night of the week, and your amazing husband and the relationship that you guys have had, and how much sport you play, and the fact that you train today and you play loads of tennis, and we're both getting into paddle. So there's loads of things to talk about. Let's get this over and done with. I bought a Chelsea hat in today just so you'd actually literally, because it's the only thing I can do. Should we just talk about Spurs and where you are right now? Because at the time of recording this, you're literally first in the league. By the time this airs, you could be about 7th or 10th. That's what we're all hoping for.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I thought at the beginning of the season that if we could get past about 7 games and still be winning, then we're pretty much going to be in the top 4. And I think we're there now. Unless anything goes very, very wrong.
Hurry who? I mean, literally. So you're losing Harry, and you're playing better football. I think.
But there were some times when Harry was injured in the last few seasons that we got into the Champions League final without Harry in the team.
So this is funny, right? So I've had two football legends, a football agent, and I'm going to ask you this. Where do you think the Premiership is right now? Because some of the teams that are playing in the Premiership, I don't think deserve to be there. And it does my head in.
But what do you mean don't deserve to be there? Because they're not good enough?
They're just not good enough.
Yeah, but but then you're getting into Super League territory, aren't you? And that was going to be a disaster.
Well, nobody wants that.
No one wants that. So, and I think, I mean, like us playing against Luton at Luton was a really good game because they battled hard and we came out on top in the end. But you wouldn't deny them and their fans that experience, would you? So football...
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
No, football was always a game of the people. It's egalitarian. It was all supposed to be like that. And I think to deny the sort of lesser, lower league teams their chance.
Yeah, they got the FA Cup for that shit. Right, anyway, we'll argue about that all day long. But I will say Spurs are playing probably the most attractive football in the league at the moment. And I love the fact you've got an Aussie manager who basically is just knocking the ball around.
Yeah.
And he's basically bought into the whole legacy of what Spurs was.
I don't think he'd have got the job if he hadn't been willing to play the way we're playing now. So
Not, there's a few that did get the job.
After the disasters we'd had before.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for one of your disasters, Chelsea. Chelsea are most grateful. So let's get on to the main part of this. So the things I'd really love to cover most is your food journey. Because I didn't see it coming, and then suddenly I turned around. We hadn't seen each other for maybe 6 months, and all that whole COVID thing. And before I'd known it, you've written how many books?
2.
Okay. How many cafes, restaurants and pubs?
We've got 2 pubs, and I think altogether we've got about 13 sites, which are mainly coffee shops now.
Now, how did this all come about? Because, I know you're super healthy and you look after yourself and your family is ridiculously fit.
Yeah.
Was it born out of a need or a want to actually just be cooking real food?
I think food, from sort of growing up with my 3 brothers and with my mum and dad, food was always the most spoken about thing, apart from Tottenham. And she was a bit of ahead of her times. Like, she'd make risottos in the 1970s. I used to get embarrassed when my friends came round because they'd want Heinz salad cream on their salad, and my mum would bring out French dressing that she'd made herself, which is truly embarrassing.
Did your mum go through? Because my mum went and did evening school, and she actually learned how to cook French. And I remember cooking coq au vin. It's like you what, and doing things like that.
She didn't, but I think she loved reading cookery books, and she was sort of loved Elizabeth David, Jane Grigson. They were the ones that really sort of inspired her in the kitchen. And I think also she realised at a very early stage that what she put in us would make sure that we lived healthy lives, which I think has borne out from, even science is backing that up now, isn't it? What you put into your body, not just what goes into your body, but what your mother and your grandmother ate before. So
did you cut down on things like sugars and fats?
Not so much. I don't follow that side of the sort of thinking. It's just my philosophy more is that you eat real food rather than sort of processed, ultra processed.
So how did you come from mum feeding you well, being a lawyer, starting a family, and then suddenly becoming an entrepreneur in the food game, which is really hard?
It's
I
tough.
failed at it pretty spectacularly.
It is, the business is tough. I can't think of a sector where you have tighter margins, and they've got tighter and tighter over the last couple of years. But I suppose I got there by just life's journey, really, I guess. I had to give up being a lawyer because of the kids. As you said, I was working at S3, setting up their legal department. and it became tougher and tougher to get back, deal with them.
Was I bringing you too much work and you still had a family at home? That's quite commonplace.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. And I felt I wanted to be in the office full time, but I also wanted to be at home, so I was torn. And my mum helped me look after the kids when I did go into the office, but she was getting older and it didn't feel like the right thing to do. And I can't remember how it exactly happened. I was pregnant with our third son. I think I'd asked for a pay rise from Bill and they'd said no. So then I thought, oh, sod it, I'm giving up, which I did. And then sort of just stayed at home looking after the kids. And then when I was pregnant with the fourth, decided to start writing some recipes, and that's how it happened, really.
So it's worth noting to people who don't know, we could be quite liable here of actually just drifting into commonality and knowledge that know other people don't. So Bill and Simon, the co-founders of what became the empire that is S3.
Yeah.
Best mates, really tight, and we're all still really close. So you and Elizabeth and Julianne and Russ. Sunil, it's Leslie. I have to name them all now, don't I? Because I forget any of that. There's Leslie and Lee. Right, so everyone's still really tight and really good friends.
Yeah.
So do you remember the first cafe or restaurant or pub? Which one was it?
So it's the Crown and Garter, which is in Ink Pen near Hungerford, which is in West Berkshire.
I know who drinks there. Occasionally.
Who does?
Didn't my fam drink there occasionally?
Yeah. And who lives over there now? Sol Campbell lives there. He drinks there.
Oh, right. Not exactly the same. Royalty to you, but maybe not to me. Okay. So, and how did that come about? Buying a pub, because I owned a bar, and I thought it'd be easier to run it as a restaurant than a bar. Idiot.
No. And it has been a learning curve. Oh my God, it's been a learning curve. There's been a lot of pain, and there have been times when I thought, what the fuck have you done? Yeah. But I don't think if I had the chance to go back and do it again, I wouldn't do it again, because I think life's about learning, isn't it? And it's not all up. Some of it's down. So.
How much time were you putting into this? Because
at that stage, it was pretty much full time.
Was it your menu?
Yeah, and I wanted it to be, and then that's sort of the part of the learning curve is you realise it can't be, because you can't have that much sort of interference with the place, especially if you're employing chefs who have their own personalities and things. So, but the ethics of the business were that I'd start a food business. It would sell real food. People would know what was in it. There weren't any shortcuts, really. And because I think people have a right to know what's in their food. So if you look at a label on a packet of, I don't know, bread, there's probably 30 ingredients that aren't even listed there. So you don't even know what's in it.
Right.
And I don't think that's right, because something that influences your health so completely, you should have the right to know. So that was always what was behind it. And also at that stage, I think that was 2014, I think hospitality staff were treated quite badly. They were badly paid, working long hours. So I wanted to try and start a business that wasn't like that, where, the people involved in the business would feel proud of it and part of it because they believed in what we were doing and they enjoyed working there. So
how did you collaborate with the management group for them to pretty much de-skill in everything that they've ever known about is profit, to get something which is high value, quality, that your punters want to come back and your people enjoy working there?
I think it comes back to your world, really, which is recruitment. So when you're recruiting people, you make sure they know those are your values, and that's one of your selling points. So you only get people to come who buying into the business who are interested in selling food like that. And that's pretty much stayed all the way through the business. So still, all the cakes we produce are made with simple ingredients. I mean, you take a hit on your margins even more than, a normal food business would.
Yeah.
But I have a view that obviously every business has to make a profit. Yeah. There's no point doing it otherwise.
Otherwise, it's a charity.
Yeah, exactly. But the size of the profit doesn't have to be so astronomical so that the suits can come and take a big cut and the consumer suffers in the end because prices are high. Someone in the city is taking loads of money out of the business, and all the reason for starting the business has been forgotten, especially when it comes to food, I think, which, as I said, has a public health implications, doesn't it?
Massive shout out to James Connors or Quetzal, Cutesal, who knows, as our main sponsors for season 2 of Pints of You. Now, Quetzal, guys coming through the busy marketplace, helping businesses buy the technology that is aligned with their strategies. No more buying tech to keep up with the Joneses, having a plan that makes it your ownsies. We love what they're doing, especially with the telephony stuff at the moment. So, cheers, buddy. Really appreciate it. Use them.
So this is big, right? So you're basically something that actually means the world to you, turning it into a business, learning on the job.
Yeah.
Never, I'm guessing. Well, I don't think you'd ever worked for a food chain or a business.
No.
So you don't, nicking, skimming, how to manage a proper booking system, all of those things. You probably had to acquire some knowledge.
Yeah, so much knowledge.
And then make it your own.
Yeah.
Did it become unfun quite quick?
Come unfun.
Yeah.
There have been moments when it's not been fun. When staff have let you down, or but they're less than the high moments, I think. The best moments are when, I've got staff who've been with me since the beginning, which is unheard of in the hospitality business. People who you've seen grow from, coming in and being a delivery driver or a sort of like just someone who, sort of more manual, coming in and becoming a manager, and their salaries increasing. That's really rewarding part of it.
Yeah, taking people on a journey.
Yeah.
Were you very selective of the locations where you set up, so that people would, rather than actually think, I'm going to use the wrong words, right? So minimum wage, poorer areas where people are potentially on the breadline and they wouldn't see the value in this. So did you have to think very carefully about locations where you could set this up where your values would match people's affordability? We've opened in a couple of places where we've decided been the wrong places, but we know now what are the right places. But I think everyone wants to buy into these values. There's no one that's going to say, no, I don't want to know what's in my food. I don't care what's in my food. There are obviously budget restrictions, like people can't eat organic chicken and, free range eggs because they haven't got the money to do it. So there's no judgment involved. No. But what I'm trying to do is give people as much information that I can so that they can make informed decisions about what they're eating. I'm not judging people and saying you should be eating organic bread and sourdough all the time. It's a choice, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's not a choice, but people just have to be respectful of that. Yeah,
so but one of the sort of values, one of the ethics we have is that you add to the community that you're in. So you don't just sit there and try and make money out of being there and without giving back to or engaging with the people who live there. So, and also a lot of the other sort of the obviously big chains like Gales and Pret a Manger and stuff, they tend to go into areas that we don't want to go into because the rents and the rates are so high.
So I don't like Pret. And I never go to a Pret because there's more salt in a Pret sandwich than there is in a packet of ready salted crisps.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just wrong, right? We should be at least trying to do our best.
Yeah.
As opposed to flavouring food by just saturating it with the wrong things. And that's not right.
Yeah.
So, I am one of those people who can walk past a Greggs, but whether I choose to or not, it's a different thing.
But so some of the places we're in are quite interesting, and then we don't have to compete with the bigger people.
So what's the plan? And mainly cafes, pubs. Are they gastro pubs or do they all sell food? Is there a restaurant in the mix now?
They sell food and drink basically.
Right, everywhere that you do.
They're just the 2 pubs we've got. Yeah.
What's the plan next?
Well, it's just to get to more coffee shops. I've decided that pubs are too tricky at the moment. The costs are too high. If you want to pay people the proper, the real living wage.
Yeah, which went up this week, didn't it?
Yeah. It's almost impossible to do that in a in a pub setting with food now, especially in a rural setting, which is what we tend to see.
So if we talk about staff, should we touch on that whole COVID thing? Because it's amazing that your business survived, because loads didn't. Tell us about what COVID meant to you and the business, because you're responsible for a lot of people's
Of course.
pensions and mortgages and life.
No, I remember.
That's pretty heavy responsibility, isn't it?
I mean, that's going to be one of the days that you never forget, is it? The day we were told to lock down, and then you're looking at, we employed nearly 120 people then. And I'm looking at them and thinking, because at that stage we didn't know there was going to be any furlough either.
No.
So basically we were looking at, that's it, we're going to have to close. Because I suppose at the beginning we thought we'd probably be closed for about 3 months. We didn't know we were going to be closed effectively on and off for 2 years. So the business lost a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. We're sort of, the last year has been recovering from that. So
and then you became an author. So tell us how on earth that came about.
So the author was before the business. So that was just sort of being at home, realising that lots of people want to cook, but they don't know what to cook. So trying to just make their lives easier really with the books. So, and also I thought, if I got hit by a bus, my children would
COVID, bus strike, sacking people. This is going in the right direction, folks.
My children would have a lot of recipes to work through.
From you and Mum.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that was brilliant.
The other reason. So they got about 1,000 recipes in those 2 books.
Did you chuck in anything Germanic?
There are a few German type things, yeah.
I'm going with a strong go. It's a bit of schnitzel.
There is the odd schnitzel, yeah.
And sausage. But, I think it's amazing that you've made a success of this. There's never any doubt that you would do that. So, when you put your mind to something, you're absolutely bloody minded. So that's amazing.
Big shout out to all Hapstar, Darren, Adam, Dan, and of course, Stinkerbell. Now, what is happiness to you? Imagine Hapstar being a unique tool that helps staff be happier, a genuine and proven scientific approach to compel staff to stay longer, get to that magic 3rd year. And we all know happy people make you money. It's absolutely fucking brilliant as a tool. You've got to check it out. It's a game changer. Smile and dial, Hapstar. It's emotional.
And we have to talk about Polo, because you've kind of taken that energy of this force of nature into Polo.
Yeah.
So when you're into football, you watch it every day. When you're into cooking, you've got 13 pubs and cafes. When you're going into Polo, you're going to smash your husband and give a bit of Polo.
Yeah, I blame that on Simon, really, my husband, because he never does anything without doing it 100%. So we had to learn to ride first. So a very dear friend of ours started to teach us how to play polo, and then he very sadly got motor neuron disease, but a very aggressive form of motor neuron disease. So when he died, which was a couple of years into us having started to learn to ride and started to play polo, we sort of felt obliged to keep going in his memory, if you like. And also we'd made a lot of friends. Polo is one of those games that, I mean, it's such an elite game. I mean, obviously you can only play it if you've got money. So, but it is, I always laugh because people say, oh, polo, you can only play it if you've got rich. But it is one of the sports that gets rid of your money as quickly, probably, as being the owner of a football club. But you are giving it sort of all the way down the pyramid of, so the grooms get it, the farriers, the horse transport, everyone.
The lorries, the
exactly.
transports, the land.
So there's a huge redistribution of income with polo. It's quite funny.
So I'm just going to bring you back to something. So I got involved with motor neuron disease because Dad had. Yeah, no,
of course. I know.
I know for a fact that you raised over £1 million for that before you basically hung up your spurs in terms of making money for that. And I think I met Princess Anne. I think you've met quite a lot of the family about the work that you did there, and you never ever talk about it. And I just think that is just such a humbling thing that you've done such a great thing and never mention it. So you're a good girl. The pair of you are really good at that. But with the polo thing, so you own, is it Kings or Queens? I can never remember. Kings.
No, we own Emsworth Polo Ground, we call it. Yeah. We had to change the name when we bought it.
Okay.
Because we bought it from the Pidgley family. And
you've got a beautiful house there. as well as being in Newbury. And the what do you call it, a complex? Is it a centre?
Yeah.
What
The club or the
yeah,
club
what
is
would
in the centre of the world of polo, not the world, but the UK centre of polo, which is Windsor.
Yeah.
Which is, so you've got Guards Polo Club, which is obviously that has connections with the royal family and so forth, which is in the Great Park, which is beautiful. And then there's Cowdrey Polo Club, which is over in Sussex. But there are a lot of private polo clubs in Windsor area, and ours is one of them.
So once you learned how to ride, and from learning how to ride, now you're committed to
Yeah.
running polo teams, and
Yeah.
it's 2. So if you're going to do it, so that's double bubble.
Well, yeah, we started off playing together, and then as you want to play a higher level, it becomes less competitive if you're together. So basically the journey was, we started playing polo, we started learning to ride, which was terrifying. Probably the most scary thing I've ever done in my life. And then went to Argentina, bought polo ponies, came back. And then a couple of years later, the club we bought came up for sale. And so before that.
But there's a lot of people involved in running a polo club. I mean,
There is.
It's ridiculous. So I don't think people realise, is it 5 ponies, 6 ponies, 7 ponies per
Yeah,
game?
you probably at the level we play, you probably need more about 7 polo ponies. Yeah. And then one gets injured per person. Yeah. But the players have more. Players come with probably a string of about 15. So.
And it's all based on levels of ability. So it's almost got its own handicap system,
Yeah.
so that the teams can be well balanced. So
Yeah.
I know that you've had some England players, or still have England players within your team.
Yeah.
And then you've got some rookies who are less good, and then so it's quite a complex.
It is.
Thing.
It's a lot of.
There's science behind it as well.
It is, and it's. I know it's not a growing sport. Well, it is growing in the UK, but probably because there are so many. There's such that disparity of wealth, so there's so many rich people now that can afford to play it.
So and the patrons. So will patrons actually all share different? I don't know what they're called. So polo clubs could there?
You
be
have to be a
multiple?
member of a club to play.
Okay, and then how many patrons per club? I mean, could you?
Oh
have,
my God, I don't know how many members Guards have. Probably about 2,000, I guess.
And they
Playing members, I guess. I don't know. I might be wrong. So.
okay, and it's not like you're trying to get a paddle game where people basically put their name down for a certain hour. To
No, it's
play.
very organised. So you enter. You know the tournaments at the beginning of the season that you're going to enter. You have
So
to
it's that
enter them within
structured.
probably about a month before the tournament starts. You have to name your team, to pay your entry fee. You can't withdraw. If you withdraw after the draw's been made, then you get banned from playing. It's very strict. Yeah, there's umpires who have to be paid. There's, they have VAR now in polo.
Shut up.
They do.
We were just talking about VAR. That
Yeah.
actually in football, the principle of VAR was to actually just make sure if something was bleeding the obvious, then it helps.
Yeah.
But actually, it's getting down to people with rulers out on screens.
No,
on
I
games
know.
For 6 minutes. I
Yeah.
mean, what is that? It's
And it
just
doesn't
gone
work.
ridiculous.
Handball, Crystal Palace on
Yeah, but-
Friday night.
Well, let it go. Can't let this.
You can never let it go.
You can't let this.
It's sort of imprinted in your heart forever.
So do you think polo will survive? As a sport
Well,
forever. I mean, it's been around for donks, but
Yeah, no, of
it's one of
course.
those sports. So I'm speaking to a cricketer this afternoon, and I'm not sure cricket will last forever unless it changes format. Just make it slightly quicker,
Yeah,
or
but-
faster, or easier, and more accessible.
Cricket's a different situation because it has to attract spectators via TV. Polo does attract some spectators via television, but more in sort of a very close-knit sort of amount of people. And so polo's excitement is being there playing it. So rather than watching it, it's not very interesting sport to watch unless you know someone who's playing. So, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Although Simon did have a horse that was called Giraffe that had a very long neck, and it was just quite funny watching that random horse because it just looked a bit.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You get so
And it's lovely
attached to your horses.
a lovely male back.
Yeah.
And the horses don't live forever, do they?
No.
So there's a little.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Something that you mentioned, and it's literally just burning a hole in the back of my brain. Given you've got all the resources with restaurants that are all producing food, have you not thought about coming out with a food product that's something that's clever, innovative, different, that kind of sticks with all your morals and your philosophy, that that you could actually use spare capacity within your restaurants
What?
to take to market?
Well,
Or
I
is-
mean, that's one of...
Because innocent. Imagine if you come up with the whole concept of innocent.
Yeah. I mean, it is possible, but if you're producing food that is ultimately fresh food without any additives and preservatives, it's very difficult to do that. So, I mean, if you come into our cafes, they're different from, say, if you went into a Costa or something. So, for example, we're always bringing new products into the shops. Like yesterday, I taste tested the sort of cottage pies, mac and cheese. So you get those in our coffee shops. So they're a little bit more than a coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's not just cake and coffee and stuff. But they're very difficult to take to market because they don't have all the preservatives in that.
Where'd you get your coffee
ultra-processed food.
from? Because some of my mates are now such coffee snobs. It's unbelievable.
We use a company called Oxford Coffee Company, and we've used them since we opened, and they're brilliant. They supply all our machines. They come out, they drop a hat if something's wrong.
And to remember, I'll nick a machine off, yeah. Right, so I just want to bring this part to a close, but I
Okay.
do want to talk about your beautiful kids. So where are the kids? What are they up to? What are they doing? Because, this is kind of like a dream family where they're all doing some crazy, brilliant things.
Well, Joe is 27.
Shut up.
He is, I know, it's scary. So he's in consultancy, working in AI, data science, and really enjoying that. Emil is in film production, so editing.
I'm available for parts.
But you might be needed because the actor strike's destroying the industry at the moment. So
I'll go across the big line. Can't give a shit. I hate unions.
So he's not working at the moment. So the production he was on has been sort of suspended until April. But if they don't sort out the strike soon, I dread to think what's going
I was
to happen.
watching Graham Norton and people were there to promote films that they couldn't talk about.
Yeah.
What's the point?
No, well, I think California's losing a lot of money, isn't it?
That's
Hollywood
ridiculous.
and stuff.
Yeah, but it's not the first time, is it? It was writers last time. So there's always somebody have a little pop.
And then Manny, our third son, he's just started an MSc at UCL, which he's really loved. It's nice to see them so engaged in trying to solve the world's problems, which is what his course is really about.
What is it? Is it renewables or?
It's economic development, but sort of with a new view on how to help sort of developing countries develop in ways that the West probably wouldn't want to do,
Wow.
So more sustainably.
I love that.
Development, yeah. And Yoli,
The chosen one.
she's our only girl, and she's just started a chemistry degree at Imperial, and she's a machine. She's amazing. So
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
We love Gary's World because it pays the bills. Business consulting, mentoring, growth coaching, and the ultimate recruitment. They're delivered by a genius and sup handsome legend who brings the fun and smirk to the business of work. It's me. Links in the normal show notes as ever. Call me.
Is there anything I should ask you about this stuff that I haven't asked you?
no, not really. I can weave it in.
Okay. Well, let's see where you go with your weaving. Should we do alphabet soup?
Oh God, alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup. Yeah, that was the stuff that you're really comfy with. Now the shit gets real. Yeah.
So do I?
Literally no expense spared. Right. So the concept is, because I'm writing a book which is basically an A to Z. So it's a good way that I can actually just launch this, and I'm creating content for myself for later.
Oh, Mum, that's good.
Oh yeah. So things that we can talk about.
Yeah.
I can give you some suggestions. Choose one or two of these that you'd like to talk about, or you can go random.
I don't mind. You choose. You're in charge, Gary.
So we can talk about your mum. We could talk about the madness. So everybody I know who's brilliant has got something about them which is just slightly nuts as well. Mood hoovers, and hanging around with people who just basically just suck the life force out of you, and how hard it is to do anything if you've
I
got
tend to
that.
avoid those people.
I think that's less three thing than we all did. We just sacked them off. Or marketing, in terms of how important marketing is for any brands or businesses.
I don't mind, whatever. You choose.
Talk about your mum.
Okay.
Because this is about getting to know you.
Okay.
It's a platform. It's launching you into the world.
Exciting.
What could happen next?
Been waiting for 56 years.
Yeah. You know, 56.
I am, yeah.
Really? Do you wrap yourself in cling film and sleep in a fridge? You look amazing. Tell us about mum and dad.
Mum, positive, dad, negative.
Your dad was very funny with me once. I was picking my ear and he said, the only thing you should ever put in your ear was your elbow. And I even tried.
He was one of those people that we were talking about before, the negative sappers of energy. So he would, if he went, I don't like to speak badly of him because he's dead, but if he went into a room and people were enjoying themselves, he'd try his hardest to make sure they stopped enjoying themselves. So sad.
So we played cricket once. Remember this story?
Was that when he got hit?
Yeah. So there was a full beamer that literally came and just cracked him between the eyes.
Yeah, and I took him to hospital.
And you had to take him to hospital.
Yeah.
We couldn't laugh at the time, but I'll be honest with you.
Well, he was umpiring, wasn't he?
Yeah. It was such a bad bowl. It was just really funny. Yeah, that was good. That was funny.
Yeah.
Tell us about mum.
Well, yeah, so she was the glue of our family, really. So I had 3 brothers.
Who were all ridiculously funny.
Yeah. And, but she worked hard. She loved us so much. And just was the perfect person, really, because she was always there for us. She sort of instilled values in us that I still cherish. My love of cooking comes from her, my love of food. My children all met her, which is amazing. Jo, our eldest, still, remembers her. And she was a brilliant grandmother as well. So there was nothing really that you could find that was,
I love that.
poor about her. The only thing that did annoy me when I was a teenager, that was that she'd be a bit jealous of my time, so she'd want me to be hanging around the house a bit, but that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing,
And
is
if
it?
that's the only thing you can find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 100% you take that. How long were they together?
Well, the whole time.
Yeah.
So she was a saint, really, because he was a pain in the arse most of the time. But I think they found their way in the end. By the time we'd left home and they had the grandchildren, I think she knew how to work him by that stage. So
I worry that people are going to say this about me and any of my wives. They were saintly and I was a bit of a dick.
Bit of a dick's different. That's all right.
Okay, we can take that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. You're right there. Literally busy yourself laughing. Bit of a dick. We can have that as the standout quote.
Boom, boom. And thank you to all that CapEx at Stan Cap's FX business. Took ages to come up with that name, OBS. Managing your foreign currency at the bank is a mug's game. Done right, it can be an additional profit centre. CapEx is Stan Cap's Anco. Great guy, scratch golfer, moneymaker extraordinaire, the one I choose personally. Links in the normal show notes. Dan, see you on a golf course soon.
Should we go to Desert Island?
Yeah, let's go.
Right, so we need to get to know you. So this is a quick fire round.
Okay.
So it's quick fire.
Yeah, quick. Am I allowed to explain any of them, though?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah. Well, if it gets boring, I might say. So you have one of each of these things. So one wish.
Peace in the Middle East.
Oh, that's fine.
I know, it's terrible.
We had Ronnie Harris and a Bill's friend here just as it all was kicking off, and it was really hard for him to.
No, of course.
To
It's
talk.
tragedy.
It's really real tragedy. One prediction.
Tottenham third.
I love the fact that you literally, because Bill would say we're going to win the league and be starting to throw money on, and you were so more pragmatic about it. And you were so closer to the living truth. So Man City, Arsenal, Spurs.
I reckon.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. Demise of Liverpool, demise of Man United. How shit were they yesterday?
No, they're terrible.
Absolutely terrible. One do-over. So if something in your
You
life...
don't understand what you've missed out my best moment you've ever had. How could you miss that out? Oh, do you allowed to miss them out?
I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Literally, did you not say that I was in control?
No, ask the question you'd like to be asked.
Fuck's sakes. Okay. The best moment you've ever had, and you can't say getting married or having children.
No, I wasn't going to say any of those.
Good.
I think it would have to be. It would be out of watching a football game with the kids, all of us together. Yeah, and taking the piss out Simon because he can't stand to be in the room and just walks off.
So you know the story is about a Euro. It's 86, and he couldn't watch the penalties, and just kept walking off. It's like, where's Simon gone? It's like, I just don't know where.
But
he's
the
gone.
annoying thing is that then, because we bumped into Ozzy at Perugia Airport on the way back from Italy on, I don't know when it's
So when you say Ozzy,
Ozzy, our dealer.
yeah, because he's always hanging around with you Spurs.
And then Simon makes out that he watched the game on Friday and starts talking to him about it. And all I want to do is
You liar.
punch him in the face, yeah? Because I sit through the pain of 90 minutes, which was 100 and something minutes in the end, I think. And he walks off because he's nervous. And then he pretends to Ozzy he's watched the whole bloody thing. And he hasn't watched it. He hardly watched any of
German
it.
liar.
Yeah.
We've known a few of them.
So it will be
Can I just
moments
say,
around the dinner table or around the TV watching Tottenham.
I've watched. I've been to the Spurs games with you, Mob, quite a few times. I think it's the most intimidating, aggressive, not even a nice way aggressive. It's just.
Well, we are.
Yeah, it's just aggressive. Oh, well, you are horrific to watch football with. But up there with actually all of you. Bill is terrific. Simon is horrible.
Bill's all right.
Joe pretends.
Joe's terrible.
Oh.
He becomes slightly sort of psychotic
you.
when he's watching football.
Yes.
No, because
It's
I
very
don't
aggressive.
hate people and try and argue with them when we're losing. But I can't even imagine having a fight with a supporter from another team. But I could imagine Joe having an argument. He will argue with me if the team are playing badly.
I think the funniest thing of watching football with you at Spurs is one minute you're not there, then you just disappear. It's like, where the fuck are the Arbers?
Well,
Oh, they've gone. But you do have a long journey back to
yeah, well, that was probably the only games. What was the last game I watched with you at Tottenham?
It's Arsenal.
Arsenal. And we were losing, yeah? It was a bad loss. And we do have 3-hour drive home. So
Yeah, you can still say goodbye. You could give us a wave. None of that shit. Right, one do-over. So something in life that you wish you could have done potentially different if you go back.
oh my God. That's impossible.
You could have given,
No regrets, sorry.
No, you could have given John. You could have John Pullen get better divorce advice because that was shit. and no, that was funny. Right, one guilty pleasure. Oh, you're gonna remember that.
Custard creams.
Oh. Okay, that's your Basingstoke roots coming out.
Yeah, and
there,
that's
isn't it?
ultra processed food, so I don't like to admit that. That's why it's guilty.
Okay.
And I don't eat them very often, but I do sometimes get a hankering for one. Right, okay.
Now, guess what you're getting for Christmas? Right, a person you wish you could meet or could have met.
Could meet. I don't know, Barack Obama.
He was a little bit ineffectual.
No, he wasn't. This
Didn't
is where
actually
we'll
get stuff.
disagree. We don't share the same views on politics,
Okay,
Gareth. There's no point going there.
Okay. Okay. Come on, the Tories. Right, one food you have to eat for the rest of your life.
Oh, for food for the rest of your life.
Yeah, one thing can I eat ever.
Sri Lankan chicken curry.
Oh, do you know what? Yes, boost. 100%. One luxury item you can't live without.
Oh, I had experience of this actually, because last February I flew to Argentina on my own, and British Airways decided not to put any of our luggage on the plane of any passenger. So I had to be in a hot climate coming from a cold climate for 6 days with nothing. I managed to get some underwear and some contact lenses, and basically that was it. So I'd say luxury would be makeup, because some days you wake up and you think, what the fuck, when you look at your face in the mirror.
It's just seemed yesterday. Literally, I look like I'd washed myself with acid for 2 days yesterday.
And then
I've got makeup on today because
Have you?
it looks so shit. But I don't think I do it the way most people. I just like do it like cement and smash my head in it.
yeah,
So that would do.
but then makeup, you can then say, oh, put some makeup on. Oh, 56 could be the new 46.
We need mirrors where you buy mirrors. Right, a mantra that you live by.
Oh, there's always a solution to a problem.
Leaving that there. One book to read.
Oh, this is going to be a bit weird. It's a book called Stoner by John Williams, not the composer, but it's about an academic. Something to do with gangster.
It is.
No,
you go back to your university roots.
The guy in the book is called Stoner, and it's really sad, but it's it sort of makes you realise at the end that life isn't about what you achieve, it's about the living.
Hola, and thank you to Camino Partners for sponsoring Pints of You Series 2. Now, Camino Partners are the ultimate staffing providers for UK and European recruitment back office talent. That includes finance, marketing, and everything in between. They own the scene between the scene. Also, Harry Houston doing the consultancy piece. Big fan. There is a link in the normal show notes as ever. Call them, we love them. And Sachin, thank you, mate.
Can I ask a question about your 18-year-old self?
Yeah.
Well done. What advice would you give to the 18-year-old Romilla Arber as was?
Enjoy the wonder of youth, I think. Not the beauty of youth, but the wonder of it. Being able to bend down and put your shoes on, jump over a wall. Yeah.
Is that really it?
Yeah. The wonder of youth. Youth's amazing. When you look at young people, they're all beautiful.
Oh, I went skiing 2 years ago and I was carrying a bit more timber. And every time I bent down to get my ski boots on, I thought I was having coronary. I was running out of breath and had to lift up because all my fat was actually just like, do you know, I just totally get that. And do you remember waking up with nothing aching?
Yeah.
No, I don't. It was so long ago. And you can eat anything you want.
Not sure on that one, but...
Okay, that's absolutely brilliant. We're going to ask you a few emergency questions to wrap this up.
Okay.
Have you had fun?
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic.
Right, okay. 1 to 11, choose a number.
10.
Oh, it's Harry Kane.
Oh.
How are you?
Madison.
Oh,
Madison.
it's what a player.
What a player.
What a player for you. Better than he was. You're 18, it's Friday night. What would you be doing?
Oh, 18 Friday night.
Having a row with your mum because she wants you to stay in.
Well, if I was at home, I'd probably be working in the pub because I worked in a pub. If I was at university, I would be in the Union Bar.
Brilliant. And if you're in London?
Soho. Do you remember those Soho nights? They were good, weren't they?
I'm going to go with a no. Because, like I said, it's all too, it's all too much fun. I'm going to choose one for you. What gets your goat?
Injustice. Unfairness. Injustice more than unfairness.
Yeah,
because the world is unfair sometimes, but when it's unjust, it's wrong.
It's got to be proven, and it's then. I just find it very difficult because everyone's got an arguable opinion on most things.
Yeah, but there's people who just are never going to be able to walk up the ladder because they don't have the same opportunities as everyone else. So.
Okay, I get that. And your favourite holiday destination?
Well, I'd have to say Italy, but Seychelles comes a close second. What's wrong with that?
Yes, me too. It's my favourite place on earth. It was quite funny, especially when we had Didier Deschamps having to lift my bags into a boat because as we changed resorts and as my helicopter arrived, they closed the airport. Back in the days when Gary's money didn't run out, then it did. Rob, this has been absolutely delightful. I really appreciate you making the time. You are one of the busiest people in the world. You're truly, truly, truly inspirational because everything you do is absolutely brilliant. You're beautiful inside and out, and I really appreciate your friendship and being here. Now, I always offer my guests the last chance to say, is there something I could ask you, a question that you'd like me to ask, or you want to ask a question, or do two truths and lie? Okay, we won't do that. That's too hard because that was a bit of prep that you didn't bother with.
Yeah.
What's What?
Give me an example of truth and lie.
No, it's too hard.
Okay, all right. That's because you haven't prepped for it.
Yeah, I haven't prepped it either. I just assumed you see the amount of effort I've
I
put
think
in.
we've covered everything. Marriage. We haven't done much on my marriage.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I've done it a few times. You've only done it once. You obviously don't like it as much as me.
No, I think, our marriage is, I love being married to Simon, basically. And he's also really, he's like, I know it sounds strange, but he's the wind beneath my wings.
Oh.
You don't know Simon.
No, he is. He's so supportive and has let me do pretty much what I want to do. He's not one, I think that's is one of the things that makes a good marriage is that you're there to support your partner.
Yeah. He's a beautiful soul.
Yeah, he is a beautiful soul.
Brilliant.
He's got his downsides as well. We won't go into those now.
The bits keep falling off. And he's still way too slim and way too handsome. So it doesn't go well. Thank you very much for doing this, my
It's
darling.
okay.
You're an absolute angel. Did you shake my hand?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's really weird. Thank you, Mo, very much. But yeah, we don't shake hands.
What do we do? Fist pump?
Yeah.
You can't hug when you got headphones on.
Okay, we'll work it out after. James, thank you very much
Thank you,
for
James.
production value. Roma, love you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of that. Personally, if you want to be motivated, get Roma in your life. Sweet. Peace out.